Tene da kasen ke kapso tanda chitang ke uma yentong ke koro da te uma pala rimba som tu ye pa te uma rangju tanjur yentong som ke nane yentong ke koro te hyupare la tene da te ke yuk la uma yentong ke koro la long mambo je tang da te doi long tang tene tekin to tenju ke long da tene ngor la so to long da ten so tang na ne jap ten ra bo ji na wa de la te jap ten ra bo ji no wa im be cher na yang cher to so wan ra bo ji ma to ta misal ke te la nde hi jap go pa misal ke yo ma re sam ba re la teren so ho do ji ti be ke ta de so ho do ji ti be ke la ma an di hu pa re la tene ta te uma yen tong ke kor la kasen Trawa nangkin cheke trawa yapo nane tene tate la ngarang len dupa rabo che chong song ti len te salvo che xio na yapo men roi rabo song song la tene ti trawa te kare re se na tate namka pembo te pe ja chenpo senripa ke se na pe namka te ja chenpo tene tate la hipan rabo zani yo mare pembo re 다티 뱀보티기 칠로라 쭈지 양 이제 다 히바당 템베게 양데 가와요아레 다티 칠로리 요아레 생긴다고 다티 데간데 나와티 야본도라 다티 나랑 티 잡루트나 요아레세 다티 두반다보지 정송아레라 근데 잡루라 간데 요아레세나 빼제 요아나 물럼다보제 땅나 물럼라 다제 메제게 물럼 데라 다데 호텔 첨부 제가나는 로 데니 디나네 사마사 데니 샤 사강 첨부 다디나네 샤브로다 다딘데게 물럼다 다디갑트나라 코란 가바디요레세나 코란 강바 다자당가 물럼당레라 다 코란 강바 tene bedroom chunchun chekana tene palantenla kambalinche kani nye yorela tati hotel te mlamta mlamgana to shabroda hotel chambo mlamta tende sedu ti bedroom te kabayore tati hotel te chilo le yore hotel te nalo le yore kabayore sena tati bedroom te nguni yorela koran bedroom guna kambalin ka nidu yorela te kava yoresena ta dandang noala kan hargurusena hotel chambo chegana shabru ta khala sa chibota de ta ti bedroom chunchung te kava yore som tana ta ti jalu ta yore te yore nguni bedroom di yore hotel ki chila yo amar hotel ki nang la yo amar kana yore sino hotel ki jalu dala yore
Yesterday we were talking about the other empty middle way schools. And so of the three types of middle way schools, there are the autonomists, the consequentialists, and the other empty. So yesterday we were talking about the other empty schools. And so following this in the text, there come a lot of quotations. And so there are quotations from the sutras, quotations from the treatises, quotations from songs, and so forth. And these are all supporting the points that have already been made. There's really nothing new in them that needs describing, and so I think if I don't go through them all in detail, it is okay. So for that reason, I think we will move on to the description of the tantras, of the views of the tantras, which will start on page 12. But before talking about that, yesterday, there actually was a really good question. It's a question about, space, and space is filled with the dark matter and all this inanimate stuff. And so the question is, where is mind? Where is the consciousness? Where is the Dharma expanse? Is it behind it? How is it? And I gave a very brief answer to this question, and I thought that it would be good to explain it in a little bit more detail. So it's like when we say when we think about the expanse, we wonder, well, is the Dharma expanse, is that some outside of space? Is it inside space? How do these two relate? And the answer I gave yesterday, the short answer I gave yesterday, is that it's sort of behind it, or it's sort of tucked inside, or behind it someplace. And so when we say that it's behind it, if we give an analogy for this, it's like someone is in bed sleeping and having a dream. And in the dream, they go to this big hotel. There's a fancy restaurant in the hotel, and there's a place they can go dancing. And they go and they have a big meal, and they go dancing and all this stuff. Well, where is this person actually staying? Well, they're having the dream, but actually they're at home in their little bedroom, tucked in their little bed with a nice comfy blanket on top of them. And so they're tucked in bed and have this little bed, and then they're having this dream, and in the dream there's the hotel. So in comparison to the hotel, where is the bed? Is the bedroom inside the hotel? Is it outside the hotel? What's sort of behind the hotel? They go to the hotel. They're having this huge meal and this great thing. They're going out dancing and having all sorts of fun, but actually their body's just right back there in bed, covered by a nice little blanket, tucked in all sweetly inside there. And so where is it? Where is the bedroom? Is the bedroom inside the hotel, or is it outside the hotel? It's sort of behind the hotel.
Tene tan drebu lam de sepa ta tel khare sam yore se na ta soma doje tipe ga tela ta tanda zo tene tseni ndo e tawa tela jo lam de sepa sum yore la tene te gam ja te gam te ya chuni gne lu chol tene te la sonam ji so sa ta tinde sene nyam sele ya tela jo tseni tipa sum yore tan drebu lam de sepa sungho doje tipa tela drebu lam de sepa sungho yore drebu hlai ko gam tene chuni gnelu gam ta tende seje tela drebu lam de sepa rela drebu lam de sepa sungho ta kap ndar sam sungho doje tipa te ta tangbo kandi chini chungwa de se na ta tanda cherdo ngaranso ta tanda pedo sempe jayu Kanju Rinpoche ga onto se na tene ndoi desin che do sungho ji jide se namba 2 yore la ta te sungho ge jide ga onto se te sungho ge jide tenzo sanji chamden de ji ta chitang ta ku ngu ji sungwan da bo ya tulwe ge koi sungwan da bo ta truba namba na so pa te ni sungwan da bo ta tinde mandawa yore la ta ti sungho doji tipi ge jide tenzo ge nang do ten yore la ti gomba te tene ta tutup chenpo tenzu ge tene ngur ge namba tam mengo ge namba tam jit ge ndrel ge namba ndabo ta tene ge ndrel ne tembar nzepa ge ji sunrang ne ta songho doji tipa te nyamne nange yore tene songho doji tipa tela yang tanda ta kap ndar song na chiji tu noji nyi songare songho doji tipa tela chiji tu noji nyi sungde tela noji chiji se na tene ta tanda jide woma tenzu ge rang lu de laye kor magam la te chirul ne tsalwa ta tanda sanje tong chongchu semba tamchi ihikoi rongzu tabla yupa tabi hinkang la yupa te tene ngaranso ge danje namkala dando gam dando yu yapa ta te namje tu ihi ji ngaranso la zi yapa tu ihi ji zikpa la tene tene ngaranso ge solwa tap melam jabna ndruju yapa te tabu je gomne te tabu je ge tawa namne tene la te chirula yapa andabo ta tanda rang ngus la imba te masamba je sanje dong songju samba tamji ihi ji koi rongzu ge tsoldu yupa tenzo tene la yi hibe namba la yuba tenzo la zeje to solwa tap manam jap chapa pul tepa pul ta tene senap hyo ta tende nang ju ge tawa de la tene te la chiji de sam se saji cheji nanjurji namba sam se yore re te yinaya ta tanda ta gending ge de ge on de sena kahi ge nyamlin nange yore chogari re tsa ni re tsa nyamlin nange yore ma to teni hachang ge nyamlin jachembo nange yore ma re la teni ngaranso chijali yubu ge chuji batam chi chi chung te tsam ta chiji desam la nyamlin nange yore ma re teni zo nangju ge kor ta teni shazu ni de tawa la nyamsa lemba yinpe cherna chiji nongji desam la nyamlin nange yore nanji de samga kante nange yaware se na la chirul nin salma gu bar na ranlu la runde ba nonji de sam te namba ni yaware ta te chitang sanje tong song ju samba tong che yehi chi kwe namba la yu yaware be se na yu yaware te yina yang rang silak hyo kapsala chilo ne silak hyo ma yinpa tene rang nangla dewarhi bi nimbo ngo de yuya pala tene dewarhi bi nimbo de nang senje namba chomba maimba ta tape ge no anda bo charung do ya patela iram jala namba la gamne tene ngaranso ta ye la daji ge namba la gam ge yore la daji ge namba la gam se du tene ngara pe korwana nepa nyemon bata jeba dubo ji yin somna tene te dubo te yendo ne de ge yore la tene te maimba ngara dubo mare yakpo tene yiram jala ko tuk ji ngo tela tene taba yi ji ro no tenzo chardo ruanda bo je yimba la somne tene yiram jala dag nambala gamna tene nangni yenten ta yi hi de nangni je paran jirwa yimbe cherna ta tel nonji desam de namba ni yesmi.
So as it says on page 12, section B, the secret mantra Vajrayana, which takes the path as result. So the secret mantra Vajrayana, which takes the path as result, here this is primarily talking about how when we have the view of the sutras, this is taking the cause as the result. We do meditation in the sutra tradition. We look for the essence of the Dharma nature. We accumulate merit through doing that. We do our practice. And so practicing in that way is and taking the cause, the vehicle of characteristics, which takes the cause as the path. But the secret mantra Vajrayana takes the result as the path. And so we meditate upon ourselves as the result, the body of the deity. We meditate upon the Dharma nature. And in this way, we meditate upon the result of the path. So how is it that the secret mantra of Vajrayana first appeared? Well, when in terms of the Tibetan scriptures, there are what we call the Kanjur, the translated words of the Buddha. And in the Kanjur, there are basically two sections. The first of these sections is the sutras, and the second section is the tantras. And so among the tantras, the secret mantra. Some of the tantras were taught by the Buddha in his actual form. Some were taught by emanations of the Buddha. There are various different manners in which they were taught, and so each different sutra has its own different way that it was taught. And so all of these are explained within the tantras of the secret mantra of Vajrayana. And then the meaning of these tantras was explained by the great practitioners in their songs, their doha songs, in their instructions, in their explanations of these. And so in this way, so now we still do the practice of the secret mantra of Vajrayana. Now, here, as it says here, there are two different types of tantras. There are the outer tantras and there are the inner tantras. Now, when we say the outer tantras, these are considered the three lower tantras. These are the tantras in which we do not visualize our own body as the body of the deity. We do not look for the body of the deity within our own body, but rather we look outside of ourselves for the body of the deity. We think that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas appear as the embodiment of the wisdom deities. They appear in these forms in the pure realms. And so we visualize these pure forms of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas in the pure realms. We visualize them in front of us. They can all see us with their wisdom eyes, and so if we pray to them, if we make aspirations to them, then we can accomplish the Dharma. And so in this way, we visualize the deity as being outside of ourselves. We do not visualize our own body as being the body of the deity, as being the deity. And so in this way, we visualize the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas outside of ourselves as not being our own form, but being outside of ourselves. We pray to them. We make aspirations. We make offerings. We sing their praises, and in this way, we request their blessings. And so these are the practices of the three outer tantras, and the three outer tantras are the action or the Kriya Tantra, the conduct or the Charya Tantra, and the Yoga Tantra. So these are the three: the action or Kriya Tantra, the conduct or Charya Tantra, and the Yoga Tantra. So these are the three outer tantras. And so now, among our Sangha, there are a couple or a few of these practices that we do, but by and large, we do not really do these practices of the three outer tantras. The main practices that we do come from the inner tantras. So they come from the inner tantras. They're the practices of the inner tantras, the practices of Mahamudra and Dzogchen. So how is it that we do the meditation in the inner tantras? Well, in the inner tantras, we do not look for the body of the deity outside of ourselves anywhere. We look for, we see our own body, the inside, we look internally at our own body as the body of the deity. So these are the three inner tantras. So are the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas the embodiment of the wisdom? Do they see us? Yes, they do. But when we want to receive the blessings ourselves, we do not look for them outside. Rather, we realize that we have the Buddha nature present within ourselves. And because the Buddha nature is present within ourselves, if we think to ourselves, I am the body of the deity. So if we just think I am the body of the deity, then because of that, we're also able to have the appearances of the pure realms and the pure bodies. And so in that way, we visualize ourselves as the body of the deity. We do the self-visualization of ourselves as the deity. So we don't think to ourselves, oh, I'm this poor person, I live in samsara, I'm really bad off, I'm such a terrible person. We don't think of ourselves like that. Rather, if we keep on thinking of ourselves as being bad off and terrible people, we're going to continue being bad off and terrible people for a long time. And so rather we think, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm the body of the deity. My body is the essence of the body of the deity. And then if we think in that way, then the wisdom is able to appear within this. And so we visualize ourselves as the body of the deity. And so this is the teachings of the three inner tantras.
Chiji desong ke te duba ji song yo are la te ne ka yo ni ta nang ju desong ke kor te ta ngaran su gus nyam ni nang yim ba te yim bicher na nang ju desom te la ngo rang yin ni ka harn de pe nong ji desom tang bo che pa Mahayoga tendam kor dai ngo ni kor lin ji trup chen Salnung Kunzub Ji Chutam Ji, Yeni, Densum Tsonga, Flying or Nation, Tangaranzo Kunzub Chutam Ji, Densum Tsonga, Taji, Jalwa Ringatan, Yungatan, Tene, Tuotan, Tumugan Nambala, Flying or Nation. Tene dobi sewale ngo thadi me ba lop deni yen mi chu ku chimbur te la phamne ta tanda yeni tanda chitang ta chu ji yen ngo rang yin ji tong ba yin ba de uma thanjur we te la pa ba te ta tene te ngo te sarwa yi hi jin nam ba tong te ba uma yen tong be te la pa ba te Teta Devarhi be Nimbu Ngo. Devarhi be Nimbu Ngo te Kande Jiresene Tenete Yene Tapa Lai Nambala Nepa. Lai Nambala Nepa La, Lai Nambala Saltap Ne, Ta Gomne, Ta Tela Tanda Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, Ati Yoga, some Yorella. Tino ne Mahayoga Zote, Kanananga Yoresena, Tene Jerem Jinambati Zotenke Yores. Jeremjan number the Zortane, Tate, Yedam Jalai go, Tate, Zo, Dachik number the Zor Gomne, Yamsale, Yedam Jalate, Kandijigango, Gongi or the Sena, the Yedam Jalate, Dachik number Gongi or Dachik number the Gombatea, Tachitang on the Sena, Jerem de Gomdutella, the Ne, Salting. Tati namba Samsung yorela. Teni tangbo cherem salwa. Teni ngajal temba. Teni takpa temba sungi yorela. Teni teya jay tangbo cherem salwa sedu. Ta ngara yedam jalaye ko koi jindang, nazadang, kundudang, chansing. Yang na la hiwaye na hiwe nambala. Tati 대샤동 때문들 왜니 몰라 라 희외 넘바다 해동동 차도라 소반들 왜니 몰라 라 추 넘발라 감다 된데난게 요래라 되네 다티게 라티게 군도동 창생동 젠동 차루동 되네 살테나 치야이 공동 제바 살탑네 다티 응네 샘라 카세 살살제 트레네 살탑바텔라 제름 살와세 Tene teya tati jesu seni nipati ngajal temba sungi warela ngajal temba sungi tela kandi sungi ware sena tache ngaran su chitang chorwa la kandi ungre ta ngara yidam jalla mare te inaya imbala somo tawi sombada boche chorwa ji warela te pak pang chito pangne tene ngarang ge gombe lati ngunige tene yidam jalla ti kuye tiga nguniga liram jalati tuye mato tene mahimbachi la imba sam de bandabota tene jay tene tindik nambanda po mahimba imba la imbar samba ye te nguni ye samba ichi yin tabu ya patela ngajal temba sikyo yo.
So we don't really practice the three outer tantras so much. So there are some brief descriptions in here, but we'll just put them aside for now. And we'll skip to page 13. On page 13, there are the three inner tantras. And it says, the three inner tantras assert that both the essence and the nature are the deity. The first of these is the Mahayoga, the creation stage. And so here, we visualize ourselves as the body of the deity. We do a self-visualization of ourselves as the body of the deity, whether this be the deities, the five Buddhas of the five families, the five female Buddhas, the wrathful deities, or the peaceful deities. We visualize ourselves as being the essence of the deity. And so this explains that the seven ultimate riches are spontaneously present as a svabhavaka kaya, and that the energy and appearance of all relative phenomena abide as the essence of the deity, fulfilling the three seats. And so this divides them by their isolate, but their essences are not separate. In other words, this divides them by how we think of them, but the essence of them is the same. And so when we say this, when we are visualizing ourselves as the deity, it's something that we actually have from the very beginning. We have primordially been the deity. So we have had this nature, this essence from the beginning. This is the nature of the Dharma expanse. This is what we call, what we come to understand through the consequentialist school as being emptiness. What we come to understand through the Shentong, the other empty school, as being the aspect of clear wisdom. That is the essence of the Buddha nature. And so how is that with us? This is something that has been with us from the very beginning. We have been from the very beginning, we have been pure. We visualize ourselves as the nature of the deity that is pure from the beginning. And so we visualize ourselves as that, we meditate upon that, and this is the practice of the three inner tantras, the Mahayoga Tantra, the Anu-yoga Tantra, and the Ati-yoga Tantra. So these are the three inner tantras, the Mahayoga, the Anu-yoga, and the Ati-yoga. And so in the Mahayoga Tantra, the main practice is the creation phase, the visualization creation phase of this. And in this creation phase, we visualize ourselves as the deity, and we primarily visualize the deity. We do a self-visualization of our self-visualization. So what is the essence of our visualization? It is visualizing ourselves as the deity. And so we generate that visualization and we meditate upon the creation phase. Now, when we are doing the visualizations of the creation stage, our visualization needs to be clear, stable, and we need to remember purity. So there are these three characteristics that we need. The first of them is clarity. The second of them is stable pride, and the third is remembering purity. And so the first of these three characteristics is the clarity of the visualization, the clarity of this. And so we visualize ourselves and we think, I am the deity, and we visualize ourselves. We visualize all the ornaments, all the robes. We visualize the body color. We visualize the articles that we are holding. If we visualize ourselves as a peaceful deity, as an antidote to hatred, as an antidote to desire and ignorance, and we visualize ourselves as wrathful deities, as an antidote for hatred and anger and jealousy. And so we visualize ourselves in this way. We think ourselves as this pure form. We think, I am the body of the deity. And so we visualize all of the ornaments, all the robes, all the accoutrements of the deity, in the pure realm, the palaces of the deity, as clearly as we can. We visualize these mentally as clearly as we can. And so that is the clarity, the clear aspect of the creation phase. The first character of the of the creation stage. And then we come to the second characteristic of this, and this is called the stable pride. Now, generally, the feeling we have is like, okay, I'm not really the Yidam deity, but I'm just thinking of myself as the Yidam deity. We have this, I'm just thinking of myself as being this Yidam deity. So this is actually a conception that we have to get rid of. We have to discard that. We have to think, I am the deity whom I'm meditating. I actually am the body of the deity. I actually am the mind of the deity. We should not think that I'm meditating upon myself as being something that I'm really not. That's not how we think. If we think that, we need to think that we are meditating upon ourselves as we are. We are thinking of ourselves as we actually are. And when we have that stable pride thinking, I really am the deity, that belief and confidence in that, then that is what we call the stable pride.
Tene tatela sumbaga ondo sena takpa temba sungi warela. Takpa temba sungi tene tangaranga Yiramje lai ko gombe kapsa la tati yiramje la nguyen sambati ngajal temba che ngajal temba tige tatanda kundu tong changsin tong jin tong chalu la so baten so che mara pengu po tene ya che sala zui ga panda bota dola zui ga panda bota tene chala zui ga panda bota tende mahimba tene tati la che salton jasang tabo se tu tene tombo salne kadu tong yebje namba la salwa ngo tomba tene namkala njahirwa tabo ngo tomba yimba tene te salton songdun juba jasang tabo se tene te ya tene mada pa ngu pondabu mahimba takpe ngu po tapa ta ihi chirungzu dabu yin sambe ichi nung tenpa te la tene takpa tenpa si ta tel jerem jin senyi tel namba somdang tenpa gogi yore.
The third characteristic is the recollection of the purity. And so when we're visualizing ourselves as the deity and we think to ourselves, I actually am the deity, that is the stable pride. And then we're visualizing ourselves, we visualize our body color, the color of the deity, we visualize the ornaments, the articles we are holding, and so forth. And when we visualize these, we don't see these as being impure things. We don't think, oh, it's made out of dirt, stone, metal, or anything like that. We think of it as being clear and empty, like a rainbow in the sky. So it is clear in that there is the color, there is the shape, but the essence of it is empty, like a rainbow in the sky. So it is the union of clarity and emptiness, like a rainbow in the sky. So we don't think of it as being impure. We think of it as being the embodiment as wisdom, and when we have the real confidence in that, that is called recalling the purity. And so these are the three characteristics which our creation phase meditations should have.
Tateya kandarsana deni yirmi chuku chimbur tena papne tate kunzo tong tang dembani yirme ba chuchu ko chimbu wala tena papne gon no atamji jerem jalam da honte no atamji yiram jalai ko nambala kusum tu tong yenten ta lineage nambala gomne mada semaran zimbe tumana jong par ye tati mada be namto tenzo remji jang tatinde nzegi yorela tene tate tetabo tene tate tetabo ki jeremje goni tandebu topa tabu jela kogi yorela tene teya jerem gombe ge yulde 다 자와섬 다 송어도 제티 바토모 마임베 온도 제나 제렘 감베 열데 자와섬 세두 신라제 자와 라마 무르제 자와 이람 틀레제 자와 추종데 넘버섬 송아레라 진랍제 자와 세두 데네 지당 진랍 세두 가레세게 요 진랍 세두 칸용게 요레 세 드니 신 랍세드 누반다보제 담비 추가 누바데 용기 와라라 드니 담비 추가 누바데 레마도 갑깔라 신 랍세드제 다르고 반다보다 드니 노아만다와 샤리아이가 반다보데 데게 노아 샤게 와레데 담비 추가 신 랍마레 담비 추가 신 랍생킨데 랑hinge 대파 tempoiapa mugu tempoiapa ichi tempoiapa telatene teze tanyamomba ngo nandunroa telatene taje sem hiwa ta troiapa tene jerem je sanhoina ya rimbi cherunroa la sobata tende yungi yore la tela chinab gnupa sungi yore tene teya taje tang lama sedu china jitawate lama la tugi yor ta ngaranso tagasi somlo tango kapsala china jitawate ta tanda teni sanje la tugi maribese na jitang sanje la tugi yore re te yinaya ta ngaranso songo doje tipelo la lama te sanje ta nyamba lama te sanje le lakpa Rabo Sungi Warella. Tiniti in Bejunsin candidates in Lama Sanji Don Dawasid. Tiniti Chitang Hop the Ten and Dragmari. Sanji la Kosum to G and Samji Machabayore. Lama la Kui and in Saint Zombosun Chitani to Pesi Zombo Jechola Soba. Songi and into Tuji and Yomarella. Tini. Te Zomdo Mazi Kaukala Lama made number, Julie Sharaga number in Bichana, change number in Tom Sigre. Tini Tela, Tepatom Muguji because of country Google. Jan Yepala, Jan meet some the gone to Google Ribe. Yentin Mepala, Yentin, yo some the gone to Google Ribe in the Mari. Jan Yepala, Jan Yepar, Yentin Mepala, Yentin Mepar, Yentin Yona, Yentin Yepar, Jan Mena, Jan Mepar, Coranti Demba, Tangbo, Coranta and Roger. Roger Rete, Yenaya, Lama Sanji Don Dawa de Caridesena, Tine Lama Tig, Tine Nupo de Zochek Mare, Lama Tig Dangwa de Zochekerella. Dangwa te countries in the younger resina, Lama Tig Dangwa te Sanji jumped in the Halnjal Naya, the Lami Sumbu Dangwa te Sungre. Sanji Lamatan Jalwe Kapsala, Lamig Sanji Sumbu Dangwa te Nangarella. Tini Dangwa te Aranso Sanji and Dreb Top Topic, Nubaton de Dangwa Nangi Warella, teacher Lama Sanji Don Tawas. Lama Sanji Lakwa Sinkitea. Chitang Yenting Chani Log Revisina Log Mare te Yenaya Tatanda Naranzo Tabu Tajing and Antasona Gevi Hini Sanji Church Longe Zobuko Gevi Hini Sanji Chugutubuko Gevi Hini Tene Sachimbola Yubi Chonchu Samba Gevi Hini Susuchi or Tamalba the number years on your Tinani, Silato Nuba Chehu, Cardin Chehu, the Soresena, Gevihini, Sosuju, Gevihini, the Cariresena, con number Chitanga, Yentin, the Barretti, Yena and Arats and Jaltu, your Marella, then Gevihini, Sosuju, the Jalni, Damatonji, Topa in Bichena, Techeparton Papa, Sumarella. Johnson teacher na Sanji Lel, Hawk Cardin, around the Yabalatini, Lamate, Cardin Chamboyen, Somni. Tinite Lama la Tete to Sorwata, Tepato Muguchi, Tendesine, Laminan Jurgambate, Silachitawa, Lama Nyanslin.
So as it continues here in the middle of the second paragraph on page 13, this establishes the superior indivisible two truths as the great Dharmakaya. And so we establish the superior, the indivisible two truths, the indivisibility of the relative and of the ultimate as the great Dharmakaya. We establish it, we internalize it, so that all that appears is taken as the path of the creation stage, so that everything that appears in the form of the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. We visualize everything, we meditate upon everything as the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. It explains that all impure perceptions of attributes must be purified. So all impure perceptions of attributes, these means all of our conceptions and all of our thoughts, these need, this is what will purify all of those conceptions. And so through doing this, through doing this creation phase, we will then be able to attain the result. Now, when we do the meditations of the creation phase, there are generally three types of objects on which we do these meditations, and these are what we call the three roots. The root of blessings, the Lama, the root of accomplishment, the Yidam deity, and the root of activity, the Dharma protectors. And so when we talk about the root of blessings, well, what are blessings? Well, when we think about blessings, the word for blessing, Jin-la, means the power to change a mind. So it's the power to change a mind. So this is the power of the Dharma. It is the power of the Dharma. Often we think of blessings and we think that there's something, we're going to receive the blessings and then we're going to start trembling and we're going to see all sorts of visions and miraculous appearances. But that's not really what we mean. Those aren't the blessings of the Dharma. Instead, the blessings of the Dharma are when we naturally begin to have a more stable faith, when we begin to have more stable devotion, more stable belief in the Dharma, through that we are able to subdue a little bit the afflictions in our mind, and then our mind becomes more tamed and peaceful. And then because of this, the visualizations of the creation, the pure, the clear perceptions of the creation phase will grow stronger and stronger. So that is the power of the blessings. And so we say the root of these blessings is the Dharma. But normally when we think about it, we say, come on, okay, the blessings of the Dharma, they really come down to the Buddha, don't they? They don't really come down to the Lama. The blessings of the Dharma must come down to the Buddha. And when we think about that, of course the blessings do come down to the Buddha ultimately. But in the secret mantra Vajrayana, we often say that the Lama is equal to the Buddha, or we say that the Lama is superior to the Buddha. And we do say this. So what is the reason why we do this? When we look at it in this way, how can that work out? We look at it carefully and we don't see it like that. The Buddha has all these magnificent qualities of body, speech, and mind. And we look at the Lama, and the Lama doesn't have the 32 major marks, and he doesn't have the 80 minor marks. He doesn't have the 60 attributes of the speech and all the qualities of the Buddha's mind. And so how is it that we see this? The Lama appears as a human. And when the Lama appears as a human, sometimes we might see some faults. We might not see any qualities there as the human, since they're human. And so does this mean that we should say, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to see any faults where there are faults. I'm going to see qualities where there aren't any qualities, really. That's not what we need to do. We don't need to pretend that there are no faults if there are faults. There aren't any. And and we don't need to pretend that there are qualities if there aren't. There really are. We don't have to do that. It's not like we're looking for, in the Lama, we're not looking for some sort of thing that's the quality or the fault. We're not looking for the Lama as the thing. It's the instructions that the Lama can give us. And so we look, when we look at the Lama straightforwardly, we look clearly and honestly at the Lama, how is the Lama equal to it? It's not that the Lama has all these great qualities of the Buddha in terms of the qualities of the body or the speech, but it's the instructions of the Lama that are so important. It's these instructions that the Buddha taught with his own words. And we can hear these instructions that the Buddha taught from our Lamas. And so when the Lama gives us instructions, these are the instructions that the Buddha gave. And so in this way, we receive these instructions for the Lama, and that is how the Lama is equal to the Buddha. And so in that way, the Lama is equal to the Buddha. Excuse me. And then we say that the Lama is even superior to the Buddha. And does this mean that the Lama has greater quality than the Buddhist? Then, well, it doesn't really mean that. But when we talk about a Lama, or we talk about a spiritual friend, in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation by Gampopa, there are said to be 4 types of spiritual friend. There is the spiritual friend who is the Sambhogakaya of the enjoyment body. There is the Supreme Nirmanakaya. There is the spiritual friend who is the Bodhisattva on the high levels, and there is the Bodhisattva who is an ordinary individual. And so of these 4 different types of spiritual friends, the one who has the most blessing and the most power is the individual spiritual friend. And why is this? Well, of course, all those great beings have all the qualities. But even though they have those qualities, we cannot actually meet them. But we can meet the Lamas who are the ordinary individuals. We can receive the instructions from them. And because we can receive these instructions, they are far better than to us and far kinder to us. This is how the Lama is better than the Buddha, how the Lama is even more kind to the Buddha for us. And so when we say that the Lama is superior to the Buddha, that is what we mean. And so if we supplicate the Lama with one-pointed faith, we have great faith and devotion. And if we do Guru Yoga for the Lama, then the Lama really is this root of the blessings. And so that is how we do this practice.
Tene ta te jesu nipa te ngundup ji tsawa yiram sungki ware la tene yiram te ngaranzo 간데지 이람 세두 가르레세나 다랑게 힐라 담제네 되네 무서 냠슬렘바텔라이 이람세 쇼기와레라 되네 우드브세두 가르레세나 당무서 디게 레본다보데 도비야가 자와데 다단다 join between Udubji Zawa Yedamse. Deya Tanda Cherdo Naranso, that Chitanga, Lam Yamselin Picasso, Kan Yamselin Yoresina, Chu Yamselin Yorel. Teacher na Chula Lamjis of Japson Rosungi Yore. Rede Inaya Chu de Pe Jachembo. Then Chu Chipombo Jeton Yeton, Ravotat in the song Yore. Chuchi Pombo Jeton Yeton, the Yamselin, Tugarevesena, Tugamarilla, Yamselin Gugarevesena, Gugio Maritino, Chuche, Takase, Narangi Yamselin, Tabate, Yamselon, and Digio, La Tira, Yila Tamchani, Tene Yidam Jalachig, Jerem Ganambagam, Yidam Jalachig, Zorem Janambagam, Tayidam Jalache Yinayandra, Yidam Jalakahi Yinayandra, Tati Jerem Zorem Ganambalagam, Tene Tati Dachi Ganambalagam Nayoram, Tenji Ganambalagam Nayoram, Tenete Yidam Jalai Nambalagam, Tenete Rana. Chenap topic mi pada tene yen senjing ke tan drup mi pada tene chene jinjitin la tene hewa da dewa chung mi pala sopa ta tende che ne tene nga da nyamne che pala tene tene thatu kundebu toparin jurwa yin bicherna thatu kundebu ngus topa yin na yanda remji ta tu chungzi tam chezong de topa yin na yanda ti ngudrup topa tela yidam ngudrup je zawa yidam se ta te nyamselen pala ten tambi chuche shero che nyamselen pata tender ko ge yore.
Then there is the root of accomplishment, which is the Yidam deity. And we say the root of accomplishment, or the root of Siddhi. What is it that we mean when we say the Yidam deity? Yidam deity means that we make a commitment, a damcha in Tibetan, dam, yidam, we make a commitment with our mind. It is a mental commitment. And then the accomplishment, or the siddhi, is that when we do the practice, we actually gain something, that we actually can attain the result. And so the root of attaining that result is the Yidam deity. And so the root of accomplishment is the Yidam deity. Now, when we do Dharma practice, of course, we practice the Dharma. And so this is why often when we talk about the Dharma, we say that we go for refuge to the Dharma as the path. It is the path that we practice. But the Dharma is really vast. There are 84,000 different aggregates of the Dharma. Can we practice all of those? We can't. Do we need to practice all of those? We don't need to. If we practice one Dharma, and we practice that one Dharma as much as we can, that's fine. That is enough. And so we make the mental commitment to one Yidam deity, and we can practice that deity in the creation phase. We can do the development phase practices of that deity, and so we make that mental commitment to one Yidam deity, or maybe to a few Yidam deities. We practice them, and we meditate upon their creation and completion phases. And so when we do that, whether we do the self-visualization of ourselves as the deity, or we do a frontal visualization of the deity in front, we meditate upon the deities in that form, and through that we are able to receive the blessings of the deity ourselves. We are able to accomplish the great benefit for others, and to help bring peace and happiness to the world. And so we recite the mantra, and we do the practice, and through this we eventually come to the ultimate result. And so whether we actually come to the ultimate result now, or whether we gradually, slowly go a little bit towards that and gradually, eventually come to that ultimate result, that is the accomplishment of the ultimate result. So we do this practice of the Yidam deity as the root of accomplishment. And so in this way, it is like one aspect of the Dharma.
Tene ta tejen du sumba te tene ji zawa chögyam sungi yore la ta songho doji tipe la chujong si yore chujong si yepa te ta lam drupu ke tru ta tanda ngaranso chitang ke chamdu ondu se na tene genden la tru ke tsurji chapsun rowa genden la tru ke tsurji chapsun rowa si tambi chu drupu ke ta genden ba ten ke ngarang la ta tambi chu drupa la garjin rabun tre na ting garjin salwe ke tru se tene tinchin rabu masang na tinchin tsangwe ke tru se tene tela labjan rabu jab tene roram rabu na ta tende si ngarang tambi chu mahipa tenzu hipa si tambi chu hipa tenzu koni kondu pelwar si nyamlin si matupa tenzu nyamlin tupa si nyamlin kompel do tong matupa tenzu nyamlin kompel do tangwe ke tru sepa tela ta gending genchu shogi yawarela gending genchu ke sedra gending genchu sedu zo ngarang su ngusu tong nyamdun rupu gending tenzo la kogi yawarela teni chuchung sedu tige gending genchu ke sedra ngusu ngarang su ke mantong na ya teni sanjiye dang janchu senpa tamji ta chuk tsurdu ta ngarang su tambi chu drupu ke garchin salwa tong tenchin drupu ke chuk tsurdu tu yi hi ki zibi songchu ki sen to denpa cham hi je tang denpa go ne zay ne yu ya pa tenzo la teni ngarang su solwa tap shua pul teni garchin saru chi tenchin duru chi se ne shua pulwa teni chu chung 다 추가 넘발라 해당 때 해당 점백이 제도라 라 추 넘바다 대전 점백이 제도라 해 대셔동 때문 점백이 제도라 단다 라 해은 넘바 추중 그 넘발라 유바 되니 추중 포지 추중 모지 다 간디지 있나야 디 추중 그 넘발라 유바 된절라 틀레 쫄 대시 제바풀 제베요지 타모 다 tormata serjem la sopa pol tene tela tilni chol sedu tangala ropa naru chi sene tene tige to ihi gizibi zeini galchin salwaton tenchin drupa yembe cherna tilni chizawa chuchung sungiyo.
The third root is the root of activities, the Dharma protectors. And so in the secret mantra Vajrayana, we have these Dharma protectors. And so in general, when we are practicing the Dharma, we have the companions who go down with us who go down the path with us. Now, in the general terms of refuge, this is the Sangha. We go to refuge to the Sangha as the jewel who are our companions on the path. So when we are when we are practicing the Dharma, these are the friends who help get rid of when we have any obstacles, they help us to dispel those obstacles. When we need to get more favorable conditions, they help assemble these favorable conditions. And so they're the people who give us advice, they help us, and in many ways. And so when we don't know something, they help us learn that. When we know something, then they help us increase our knowledge. When we aren't able to do any practice, they help us become able to do that. And when we need to develop our practice, they help us develop the practice. And so this is the jewel of the Sangha. And so the main Sangha, the main actual thing are those companions that we actually have right now. So this is the jewel of the Sangha. But it's not just all those people that we see right now. There are also all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas who can be companions to us. And so if we have difficulties, they can help dispel these difficulties. They can help us assemble all the favorable conditions. And so they can be our companions in this way. So they can see us with their compassions. And so in this way we can exhort them. We can ask them for help. We can ask them, please to get rid of any obstacles to help us accomplish things. And so we can ask them. Sometimes these Dharma protectors take wrathful forms. They take a wrathful form as a way to subdue our hatred and anger, or they might take peaceful forms as a way to subdue our desire and ignorance. So there are male Dharma protectors. There are female Dharma protectors. And so there are many different of these forms. And so we then do the practice for them, and we give them, we exhort them to their activity, we make offerings, we offer them some little small offerings, such as making a torma offering, or a serkyam, which is a little tea offering, or what would we say, sort of a golden oblation offering, you could translate it as. And so we basically were asking them, please help me get rid of these obstacles, please help me get what I need to do my practice. And that's how we exhort them. And so in this way, these great bodhisattvas who are manifesting in these forms as Dharma protectors can help us get rid of any obstacles and accomplish what we need. And so in this way, they are the root of activity, the Dharma protectors.
Tene Tatige Chitanga Songo Doji Tipichu Yomlin non Kausala Jeremto Zoram number Ni Orella Tina ne Tatanda Jepa Mahayoga Sidu Jerem Zordemba Zorem Magamba Revisina Zorem Magamba Marete Tati Lamji Zonda Wote Jerem La Tene Tapin Hoata Tape Zibata Tape Yiki Denzo Charwig Tapna Tela Jepa Mahayoga Sungi 다 제рем도 조렘니게노니 제렘 조르다는 게 요래 다 디지에서 아누레라 아티니 아누요가레라 아티니 데라 조렘 조르덴바 아누요가 네 세감들 성네 조렘 조르덴바 다 디제렘 단다 제바 마하요가게 조렘 먹음바 리비시나 먹음바 마레데 제렘 조르덴게 요래 아누요가도 아드요가게 제렘 먹음바 마레바스네 리비시나 마레데 이나야 데니지 조렘 조르덴게 요래라 조렘 조르덴바 조렘 라야 다치당근 센제던 세미 미제동 미미 예베나니 조 센제게 조렘다 미제게 조렘다고 조르덴바 임베체나 아누요가 tene ta tela yen jewa me ba kundu zangmo tene yihi rang yin ji len ji tu ba kundu zangbo ta tela je ta chitang ge chu ji yen ta yihi ni bo de re te yin na ya ta te ta ba lai namba la kundu zangmo ta kundu zangbo ni ji namba la yen ti chu ji yen tong ba jewa me ba te tene kundu zangmo ge namba ta tene yihi ji namba te kundu zangbo ge jin kor da yen sa ba se ne 대당 이르메바 세 대화침보 송주선지 징고르테 징고르 넘버 썸 예니 징고르 넘버 썸 징고 송첩제 만리바 다테 동보니니 요아레라 대 예발라 살탑니 다티 제렘데 두 점기 세네 다 조어 가린난 게 요아레스나 공샤 탐지 조름jel랑도 롱데 za tai long som so ronlu la ne den ba da de la perna naru chudu la so ba za da long da tile ta ngaran so dupa da bo je se na lu je lu no no ge chu dai ja ga kap sa la ya ta zang tile la ne den ba de la tene lu chang na za chang na long chang na sem chang ta de zalung ge ne da den ba je yin be chen na 대견도 다 제바세나 자롱 중국라 소발라 때네 되네 랑룰라 되네 랑그 자롱 레스롱알라 때네 되네 가세 단다 롱간 파모토발라 되네 단다 스파디 사차바가 순디텔라 되네 다 고르베 자와디 롱 우마르마지 바레순지데야 당근이 인지레 롱데 오마라 쪽네 티네 다 디게 냉관다 볼라 때는 또바 제바르지 질라 지게 탑된데 난게 요아래라 되네 타말진 투도 남 영서 당고 바른데
And so when we practice the Dharma of the secret mantra Vajrayana, there's the creation stage and the completion stage practice. And so in the Mahayoga practices, we primarily do the creation stage practices. Does this mean that we don't do completion phase practices? It doesn't mean that. But what it means is that mainly you do a few completion stage practices, but the main path is the creation phase, the generation of pure appearance and pure perception, and to develop the wisdom of the creation phase. And so for that is the main focus of the Mahayoga, primarily doing the creation phase. And then there is the Anu Yoga, which is in the middle of page 13. The Anu Yoga, which emphasizes the completion stage. And so the Anu Yoga and the Ati Yoga, the other two, the Anu Yoga and Ati Yoga, primarily emphasize the completion stage. So does this? So these two primarily do the completion phase. Does this mean that they don't do the creation phase? It does not mean that. They do some creation phase practices, but the main part of the practice is the completion stage practice. And so the practices of the completion phase primarily have two different types. There are those that have attributes and that have focus or reference points, and those that do not have attributes or reference. And so here the Anu Yoga, which emphasizes the completion stage, thoroughly establishes that from the very beginning, all phenomena are distinct but awakened as the essence of the three mandalas. The mandala of the unborn. There's an extra that there. The mandala of the unborn expanse, free of all elaborations, that has been primordially Samantabhadri as she is. The mandala of the perceiving object, self-arisen wisdom, the nature of the spontaneously present Samantabhadra, and the bodhicitta mandala of the indivisibility of these two, the child, the root of great bliss. And so here we have the Dharma expanse and wisdom. We have these two. And when these arise in the form of the pure deities, we have Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri. So Samantabhadra is the male deity, Samantabhadri is the female deity. So the expanse, the Dharma expanse, the empty Dharma expanse arises in the form of Samantabhadri, the primordial female deity. And the wisdom aspect appears as Samantabhadra, and so these two have been, and then the union of these two is the child, the root of great bliss. So this is the bodhicitta mandala of great bliss. So these are the three mandalas of Samantabhadra, Samantabhadri, and the union of their union, the child of bodhicitta of great bliss. And so, how is it that these have been? How is it that they're present? Well, they have been very present from the very beginning. So, from the very beginning, all phenomena are distinct but awakened as the essence of these three mandalas. So, this is how it is. And so this is not just something that comes out from the power of the, it comes from the power of the creation phase, but the main practice is that we work with all that practices. Whatever occurs is taken as the path of the completion phase, as it says. So whatever occurs, everything that happens, that we use to take the practices of the completion phase. And these practices of the completion phase are the practices such as the 6 yogas of Naropa, which emphasize the channels, winds, and the drops, or the essences. And so here this yoga asserts, in the text it says, this yoga asserts that one must restrain the aspect of ordinary confused perception into the expanse by focusing on the points of the channels, winds, and drops in one's own body. So we focus on the channels, winds, and drops, and we can do this through the exercises of the yogas, such as the 6 yogas of Naropa, or we can also do it through the, in a simple way, in an easy way, we can do this through the 7 points of Vaibhashika in our body. When we're working with our body, we're working with the channels and the winds within the body, and so we're working with the channels, wind, and the drops. As it is said, when the body is straight, the channels are straight. When the channels are straight, then the winds are straight. And when the winds are straight, then the mind also goes straight. So working with the 7 points of Vairocana, the 7 points of the posture, is a way of working with, short way of working with the channels and winds within our body. But if we want to do the more extensive practices, then we do the various exercises in the yoga practices, and we really emphasize and focus upon the points of the channels and winds and so forth. And so yesterday we mentioned how when Pakmo Drupa went to the great Sakya master, Kunga Nyingpo told Pakmo Drupa that the root of samsara is the winds not having entered the central channel of the body. And that is actually how it is. It really is like this, because when you do the yogas and you bring the winds into the central channel of the body, then it is a method to develop the excellent realization very quickly.
Tene ta te ta bu nyong su len tang ge kor la yin na ta ngaran so chanlin la lo som la nyen ba tang tene zang tile ten so jang tene naro chu du ten so gam ta tende nang ge yo la tene nyam su len tup na be to pa ten so tembon ro ya ta salbon ro ya ta tene nyam len ya pon ro ya la be pen to chen bo yo yang yin ji min ji chu nyam su lang na lo sang lang sang ma de nan chang chu nyam su len me to pa re be se na ma re chu ka de yin na ya nyam su len tu ge yo re te yin na ya ta je to mo ma yin ba ngone tene tin jin zam ten de ya bo chang na de ta bu nyam ni nang tu na ya be kal chen bo re la tene yang tin jin man zam tende chang na tene yin min ji tene chu nyam su lo na lo song chang de go re te me na chu nyam su ni to ma re sing ke ma re ngaran sa ka se to ge chu nyam ni na na ya ti man ri ba che do yo ma re la tene ta de ge go ni zopa chim tanda zorem zor te ba an yoga ge lu la ta tende re.
So when we do the practice of this, we often do a 3-year retreat, the retreat for 3 years and three moon phases. We work with the channels and the winds. We do the meditations of the 6 yogas of Naropa. We do the visualization phases, and if we can practice like that, we can develop realization, which should become very stable and very clear. Our practice can become very good. This is a very beneficial thing to do and a wonderful thing to do. But sometimes people think, well, I really need to practice the Dharma, but I can't do the 3 years. I just can't do that. Does that mean that I can't practice the Dharma at all? It does not mean that at all. No matter how much Dharma practice you do, whatever amount of Dharma you practice do is really helpful and really wonderful and very great. But there is this special tradition that we have. It's a tradition where we can actually get all the things we need to do the practice together. If you're able to do that, then it is important to do this. But if the conditions don't happen, if you're not able to do that, then you can practice as much as you can. So if you think, oh, I can't do any Dharma practice if I don't do the 3-year retreat. Is that how it is? It isn't like that. You should just do as much practice as you can. There's nothing wrong with that in any way. And so, in this way, these are how we do these practices of the completion phase of the Anu Yoga.
Tene ta te je so jeju ni su me ba ati yoga re la tene taring nga du chu te zam shona de se ta taring chu te tama in du gam ya po je da de pa to mu ya po je na ya ta tinde na da som som.
So next comes the Ati Yoga, which is without duality of creation and completion. But that's enough for this morning's session. So now today is the last day. So we're going to do some meditation. And you must have good faith and good devotion because today is the last session.
Belshing Shah